So what's going on, everyone? This is your bonus episode of this week. This is Shadell with Paging the Simpsons. I'm here with the lovely fiance of mine.
Hi, it's Lauren.
And, I just want to have a bonus episode to talk to you guys about a topic that, I don't know, that's like on my mind constantly. And as you know by the title of this, it is anxiety. Something that I'm sure we all go through, and I feel like we go through it more at our age, probably due to social media. Seeing everything that we see, I don't know. And also during this current political climate, I don't want to get too political here. I just want to talk about it because I'm sure we can relate, and not to play a race card, but me being black, my anxiety is heavy over the last 2-3 years. I have so much anxiety. Most recently, one of the things that I'm currently going through as far as anxiety is concerned is I go to the gym, at least 3-4 times during the week, and I'm in an area where it's diverse, but of course you're gonna have majority white people there, and that's fine, no problem. And my issue here, I get the vibes, most likely because of the climate that we're in, that, I don't know, everyone has, an issue with me. Or, you sense people that have, a certain vibe towards you, I should say. Because, I'll go to the gym and I'll work out and mind my own business, have my headphones on, just doing me. And, I don't know, just how some people act and, their demeanor, I'm just I don't know. You kind of feel like they have a problem with you. And that's where my anxiety kicks in, and where, I had an issue where I used to go to the gym at nights, and my anxiety was no, you can't, I can't do that. Because the nights were better at the time, because barely anyone was there. I'm going to the gym 11, 12 o'clock, late. But then it got busier, and my anxiety was I can't handle this. There's still a lot of people here. I'm one part of it is me thinking, what are people thinking about? And, I don't know. I feel like the late nights had a very cliquish style to them, so I really didn't like them. And I like the mornings more, because you're waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You're really not thinking about a bad thought in your mind. At least I would assume so. And that's currently an anxiety thing I'm going through. Another one we just had a fight about was about, or a disagreement, whatever you want to label it, was about driving, and I didn't communicate effectively that, hey, I have anxiety when it comes to driving during certain times. When it comes to going out places when it's high peak times.
The reason we were having a disagreement about the whole, what he was talking about driving and stuff, is I didn't realize that was what was going on, because he wasn't talking to me about it. I thought it was one of those things, it just seemed like he was kind of getting disinterested in me and spending time with me. And I think that's where this ties into relationship issues, and how, stuff that you're going through personally affects you and the others around you. So it's really important to take care of yourself, and, physically, mentally, emotionally, all that stuff. And so it was good, because I felt really proud that he was able to open up to me and tell me that, because I had zero idea. The way he was displaying it was he just didn't want to go on dates with me. He didn't want to spend time with me. And so that made me sad. And so I talked to him about it, and then we found this out. So, and I think you can agree, disagree, but I think one thing we're seeing a lot, because you were saying how you're black, is it's also being a black man. I've just seen that a lot of men in general, and especially black men, have issues kind of going to therapy or talking about mental health, or being open about emotions and kind of stuff like that.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. Depending on where you come from, yeah, that's an issue.
Yeah, because I think it's looked down upon, especially with men.
But that's, men in general.
Right.
I don't think it really has to do with because you're black. The black part comes into play because I have anxiety because people say, hey, that's a black guy. I don't feel comfortable with him being in the space. And that gives me anxiety because someone is making me uncomfortable, thinking that I'm making them uncomfortable. So I have no problem going to therapy and talking about it. My issue is finding the time. And
prioritizing the time. Let's be real.
And it's like, I know that. Like, I'm not afraid to go to therapy. As you guys will know in later episodes, we have gone to couples therapy. Like, that's not an issue. I have no problem talking about myself and sharing all. Like, I have nothing to hide. There's just that major, like, anxiety issue that I have. And I'm like, I'm sure you've had it. Like I don't even know.
What?
Like, to like tie more into this, another issue is like, with us being an interracial couple, comes another set of anxiety. I don't even know what you want to call it. Like boundaries, rules, issues, problems. Like when we were in the early stages of our relationship, you can tell that we had. Like, it was an issue between us, but we were, like, more aware of it. Maybe didn't really want that energy, didn't really want that problem, all that stuff. Now it's like...
how other people would perceive us.
Exactly. Like, we're completely fine with each other. It is what... Family's cool with it. Friends are cool with it. It is what it is. But in the early stages, like, it would bother us.
Because they would give us, like... death eyes.
No matter the race, whether it be like some old white girl or guy, grandpa, grandma, whatever you call it, or certain females.
I wouldn't say didn't matter the race.
Race.
I would say it's heavily on one side, but
I wouldn't say so. It's on both.
As the female that was getting the dagger eyes,
it's on both sides.
Okay.
It's on both sides. I think it's the black women having an issue, and it's also the white men and white women having an issue. Because it's like, yo, I can roll up and be chilling with my Spanish homies, and it'd be cool. No issues. I don't feel any anxiety. We're all cool.
Right,
we all get
but
along.
once you're in a relationship.
What?
Right, but once you're in a relationship.
What do you mean?
That's when people have an issue with it.
Yeah.
Once it's romantic.
And another thing I hate that gives me anxiety is this narrative that goes around saying, like, oh, he's with the white girl. Like, you know, he didn't date black or whatever. Like, I feel like I've been seeing this a lot more, and I really have a problem with it. Like, it's like, dog, you like who you like. And that's another part where my anxiety, and I have some issues with people that, like, are so heavy on the certain race that are like, hey, you have to be with this race and everything. I'm like, yo, be with whoever you want.
Right. I mean, it's hard because we can't really talk from those cultural standpoints of, like, I guess cultures who are very strict in that matter. You know, I can't talk for that, and I'm not saying anything's right or wrong, but just in general, I'm a very pro love who you love type of person. You know, it could be any gender, any sexuality, any race, any whatever, because just overall love is so much better than hate. And if there was more love in the world, it would be a better world. So I don't really care who you love, how you love, like what you're doing, like it's all good with me. So, I mean, and it's 2019. I mean, when people are looking at us, and it's funny because it's not always like an 80-year-old who looks at us with, you know, the dagger eyes and like questions why we're together. It could be another 20-year-old, and it's like, really? Like, what are you growing up in that is expressing, like, you have to express hate to others who are in love?
Like, I feel like in this very Trump era that we're in, and again, like, I don't want to touch on politics, but I feel like it just fuels more hatred, and it's giving me a hell of a lot more anxiety. Like, in so many ways, I just don't feel comfortable. Like, I just really, at this point, just want to stay home and not do anything. Like, it's really getting to that point where I don't feel comfortable at all in this world. And that's when you're getting into a real bad place.
The other thing, too, to keep in mind, So I know he's saying like, oh, if you have, always dated a different race and is that a problem kind of thing. So the funny thing is I've never dated out of my race until Shadell. So it wasn't even like I had that kind of preference or anything. For me, it was literally just a matter of who came along, who caught my attention, who made me laugh, who was nice, who initiated a date, that kind of stuff. That's all that was. And then it just kind of progressed from there. So, I mean, that kind of goes to show that, again, it's all good. Like, it doesn't matter who's loving who.
And I will say, if in this time that we're in, if you have major anxiety, like similar to what I'm describing and even worse, definitely just seek help. Talk to a friend. If you have the time and have the money, find a therapist. Find someone that's going to sit there and listen to you, or help you out. It's nice having someone that's not biased, that can give you some advice, somewhere to guide you. Currently, that's the issue I'm going through, and it's like I need to find something, because I just don't feel comfortable in this world that we are currently in.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, I've gone to therapy on and off since 7th grade. So, I mean, I'm well versed in that subject. And it's something that I feel like some people can go for like 2 months and then they're all good, but some people they're kind of like lifetimers, and you kind of have to work through the next phase and keep working through the stuff from your childhood and things like that. And it's just been really helpful. And again, it helps you personally, which is first and foremost. You need to help yourself. And then it goes into making the rest of your relationships in life better too. So it's definitely a huge asset. It's kind of funny too, because how you were saying based on your race and stuff, for women, it's kind of based on our gender.
Oh,
the whole
man.
anxiety, because not for nothing, especially at night, but just in general, if I am like walking on the sidewalk and I'm getting too close to a man, I don't care what color you are. It's a thought. It's a thought of, is this person going to try and snatch me? Does this person have a knife? Does this, anything that you could think of. I don't care what race you are. That doesn't matter at that point. It is kind of a gender anxiety, which stinks, because I'm all for female empowerment. I am all for being strong on your own and by yourself and all this stuff. But it's still that little thought, because at the end of the day, yeah, men are naturally stronger, and they're, for me, I'm 5 feet tall. Everybody's taller than me. And like, it's a real issue.
Speaking of which, I follow some girl on Twitter, and I saw recently, I think this past weekend, like she had to like run for her life, because like what happened? Like she was like out somewhere, and like I don't know if these guys were like joking or whatever. She doesn't know, but like her friend dropped her off somewhere, and like these like probably like these 2-3 guys started like chasing her, and she got away. And I'm like, that is wild. In what world do we live in where you get chased by some random people you don't know?
That's sad.
Like,
that's terrifying.
And this was someone that I think lives in Canada. So I mean,
it's anywhere. It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, that's
and there's
point.
Much worse than our country too.
Of course.
It's like it's a crazy world we live in.
I'm just like, I was telling my friend the other day when we were like talking about everything, like when briefly talking about this anxiety, and I was like, yo, can everyone just love everyone? Like, can we just love each other? Like, why is this? It seems like it has to be so hard to have.
Yeah.
Love and respect for the next person. It's just like, it's wild to me. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to make this such a heavy podcast.
Heavy topic.
But I'm like, I feel like I had to talk about this, get this out, because I'm just like, this is wild to me.
And I think a lot of people can relate.
One of the things I want to get into, which I not really get into, but one of the books I want to get, which you're like, hey, you should buy it and all that stuff, is Charlemagne the God's book, Shook Ones, Anxiety Playing Tricks on Me. I want to get it, preferably the audiobook because I'm not really a book reader.
The reason I'm saying, oh, you should get it is because that was technically one of his Christmas gifts. I gave him money for it. He never got it.
Yeah. But, like, I want to get it because it's like, I want to hear someone else's thoughts. Like, in the book, I know he's mentioned where he has, like, he lists out his stories of, you know, a time where he's gone through some anxiety or some, like, mental health related issue. And he also has, at the end of that, like, chapter, he has a therapist or someone, like, some medical doctor, like, talk about this and, like, explain it a bit more as to, like, what he was going through. And I'm like, that's so smart. I'm like, I really have to check this out. I haven't had the chance to. Definitely will in the future. But I don't know. I just kind of want to shed some light. I kind of want to know anyone else's, like, thoughts and if anyone goes through this.
Kind of like you were talking about Charlemagne, for the girls and the people out there who are more into makeup like me and more like that kind of stuff. You probably know Jaclyn Hill goes through a lot of anxiety. She's been very vocal about it. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of times where, I mean, she's landed in the hospital and she's, you know, had to take breaks and things like that. And I think that kind of stuff is important, which is why, you know, we're trying to talk about it today and kind of initiate a conversation and just kind of relate to you guys. Because I know I have found comfort, like when she would talk about the various struggles she's gone through, whether it be body stuff or, you know, anxiety about flying or just anything like that. I think, you know, it's important to just break the stigma when it comes to mental health because, I mean, I think we are getting closer to that. I think every year it's talked about more and it's more accepted, but it's still one of those things that is hard for people to overcome their own mental illnesses and be brave enough to talk about it and not have shame.
And it's like, why is... I'm trying to figure out, why is there a stigma? Like, what in the past has made this so bad to be like, yo, if you're getting help for yourself mentally, it's bad for you. But when you go to the doctor because you have a cough or because you're not feeling well, oh, yo, that's great. Like, I'm glad you're taking care of yourself. I hope you feel better. Like, I don't understand that.
That was the thing I was going to say, too, about her was a month or two ago, she was talking about how the anxiety really manifested in a physical way for her. People thought she was pregnant. I mean, they always freaking think she's pregnant. It's one of those. But like, she literally was like super sick, like actually physically sick. And it's amazing how powerful the mind is and how anxiety can actually make you sick. And so I think it's very interesting because now you're talking about the doctors. And I think these doctors, they need physical evidence is the problem in that it's so become much. A thing where, you know, well, if there's nothing on the blood tests and the x-rays and the, you know, everything, you look like you have no bumps and bruises and broken bones, then like you're fine. I mean, your body is okay. Yeah. But it's hilarious because our brain is the most powerful part of us. Mm-hmm. It is the central part of us that functions every part of our body that they look at. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, no one's going to be perfect. No one's going to have no issues mentally. No one's going to just be great all the time. So, I mean, it's so important to work on and for someone to actually believe you. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole reason I started going to therapy. Because in 7th grade, I had chronic fatigue syndrome, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically, you know, it sounds like you're just tired all the time, but you're tired all the time. You're achy all the time. You also can't sleep, even though you're exhausted. Like it's your constant headaches. I had like these weird seizures at one point. Like it was like a weird thing. And what's funny is nothing comes up on the tests. You will never see any speck of it anywhere. So then every doctor wants to convince you that you're just a little crazy. That like this is not really anything that's happening to you, which I think then further actually makes mental illness worse.
It's because like you're like no one believes you, like
right. So like let's say because I believe that that condition I think can definitely be part mental and part physical. There are definitely things that you can have that are both, but why are we shaming the person?
Yeah,
you know that's just gonna now. you sent me to therapy because you wanted me to like get over that part, which could be contributing. But I mean, I think doctors need to be, and this could be a whole other topic because I've been through it with doctors. They need to be more compassionate. They need to put themselves in the patient's shoes. I think they get used to it as a job, and they you know, like anyone else, you kind of get into the swing of it, and so you just look at this person as the next and the next and the next. You don't look at this person as a real viable person with emotions and problems and bills and whatever it is. So I think that that's where it stems from too, is these doctors, you need to be trained in all facets. It's customer service too, if you look at it. You know, you have to be there for them emotionally and mentally and support whatever they need. So instead of going and shaming them for, no, this is all in your head. Do you know how awful it is to hear if you have something that hurts or something that prevents you from going to school or work or something like that? Someone just says, this is all in your head. Versus if they say, so this condition is something that presents itself in both physical and mental ways. So these are the ways that I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you this pill or whatever it is. And I'm also going to send you to someone who you can talk to about this. And they are going to help you, you know, get through this part of it. That is so much better. It's all about how you talk to people. Ooh. I did not expect to go on that rant, but I went with it.
You're right, and that's the main reason I wanted to touch on this as a topic. You know, it's like, it's not the greatest topic that you want to talk about, but it's something that has to be talked about. I don't know. At the end of the day, this podcast is just for the person that's listening. If you feel like anxiety or what you see on social media, because in this day and age, things are crazy, and you're just seeing like someone's highlights on Facebook or Instagram. They're not showing you what they're actually going through, and it's hurting us.
Gosh, social media could be its own podcast. It is wicked how social media contributes to everything. I think social media makes depression worse in particular versus anxiety, but I can see how it can affect anxiety too.
It's funny because I think I said this to you like a few weeks ago when I was like, yeah, I can see how social media can make you feel down. Because it's like, I didn't go to the gym, I think, that day, and I'm sitting here like watching all these fitness people because I feel like Instagram is heavy on the fitness stuff, and I'm like, damn, I feel like because I missed this day at the gym, I'm just lard here. I'm just, damn, I suck. Like,
I mean, it's kind of just like, okay, we talked about in our last podcast how we've been together 4 years, and it was one of those that I got used to just being like, whatever, like, I'm not engaged, it's whatever, we're not getting married, stop talking about it. And social media furthers that wound because you can be 100% happy in your relationship, no problems, you could be like floating on a cloud, but because everybody is pressuring you to get married and have a ring and have a huge wedding, and you're only happy and serious. Oh, that's the thing too. You're only serious and committed if you get engaged and married. Like that. It gets in your head, even if you try to stop it, but it gets in your head, and then what does that do? Now that makes you feel bad, and inadvertently it's going to make your relationship feel bad because now you're going to take it out on the person. It's going to be a whole bad cycle. So yeah, it's like this social media stuff. It's kind of like it's like those tabloid magazines on steroids kind of deal.
Always in your face.
Yes, like you see like all this gossip and juice and like idealism and like all this stuff in your face all the time. And it's addictive. So then you can't get away from it. Because now like you literally are like on crack.
Whatever you want, it's there. You pick up your phone and you're like, oh man, like anything. You like, what was big a few months ago was the keto diet. Like that was huge, and like, oh, I'm losing this much weight.
My gosh.
So many people jumped on this. You saw a Facebook post from people.
And here's the thing, and this could be another topic. So I have a different lifestyle now for my health reasons. I'm gluten, dairy, egg, and almond free. And that is very specific to me. It's not something that I tell people they have to do because I don't know your body. I work with a naturopathic doctor, and that's how we figured this out. So when it comes to the whole keto thing, like, it's great that it helps some people, whether it's energy levels, health-wise, lose weight, whatever. It's also one of those that you just have to know what you're doing, though. I think some people are trying just to do it because they're desperate to lose weight, and it's actually having some health consequences instead of benefits. So when it comes to all those diets and stuff, I strongly recommend just talking to a doctor, and more specifically someone like a naturopathic doctor, just because they're more about the lifestyle method, the diet and the actual health versus just shoving more pills in your face. So
trying to suppress it instead of trying to like heal it or better yourself.
Exactly. So yeah, it's like, and that's like a perfect example though, all these fads that are in your face. So for me, it's like, I can't do keto because keto wouldn't make sense for me. Yeah. It actually wouldn't make my health better. It'd make it worse. Yeah. But I mean, you know, it's in my face and it's like, well, you can lose this much weight. And I'm all over here like, yeah, I need to lose those few pounds, but I can't do that. It's like, you know.
I hate that. Yeah.
My best advice, though, when it comes to anxiety or any mental illness or anything that you're going through, don't feel ashamed and don't feel alone. And I know that's so, if you're in a bad place, I'm not going to help you. That's not going to help me saying that. I know it. But just know, like, once you take the first step to therapy, once you become okay if you happen to have to take medication for it or like things like that, you know, don't feel ashamed because so many people go to therapy and so many people are messed up and have problems. Everybody does.
Yep.
And, you know, people go to therapy more than you realize probably. You probably pass so many people on the street or know so many people, but you don't know that part of their life. Just because, again, there's the shame aspect. Yeah. Like, how many times I'm like, okay, I'm going to the dentist today, or I have my doctor appointment next week. But then if I say, oh, I have my therapy appointment tomorrow, all of a sudden, people get uncomfortable.
You know what's funny? Speaking of which, because, you know, at the time, we're no longer in therapy at the moment. Who knows? We may do that in the future. But at the time last year, there was a point where we were in therapy. And this guy was going through a lot of issues with his wife. And I was like, oh, we have therapy, you know, later that day, whatever would be Thursday, whatever day. And I'm saying this guy has a lot of issues with his wife and they don't, you know, see eye to eye or agree on things. And I'm like, maybe you guys should have therapy. And he tells me that, like, they tried before, but she didn't like it. And I'm like, this is a major issue. Like, you guys need to communicate better. Like, it's not working out. Like, there's a lot of issues happening. Like,
and that's the thing too. If you don't find the right therapist the first time, don't give up. Yep. Because, for example, like, we had a great couples therapist, then she ended up moving away. We were going to try a different one, and
that was a fail.
She was awful. She was just a bad therapist. Yeah, she was just a bad therapist. She didn't know what she was actually doing. Like, she didn't. It wasn't good. So it's just like any other profession. There's really good people. There's not so good people. And it also is personal. Yep. You know, she may be a great person to other people. She just wasn't for us.
Yeah.
I'm giving the benefit of the doubt, babe.
I was like, you can, but I'm like, I don't think she was.
She's the owner too. That's what's hilarious. She's the owner of that place. Like, I'm like, what? But, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing he said too, is like, oh, we may end up going back sometime because it's a positive, even though, yeah, you probably go to couples therapy because you're not in a good spot, but like, it ends up actually being a positive because now you're just working on your relationship. Now you're just working on better ways to communicate or like, you know, understanding this hump. Because like, for example, you know, we're getting married, okay? And so we're going to be together forever. That's the goal. So forever's a long time, okay? You know, and we're going to have kids. That's going to be a whole, growing. Right. There's going to be a whole other ball game of issues that we're going to have to overcome. If there's job changes or cancer, God forbid, or something happens and we just have to like work together and we need a little, you know, push in the right direction, then that's what they're there for. They're not there to like change you or like make you into a person you don't want to be. They're there to facilitate growth. That's all it is, and to realize what's happened to you and how to overcome it.
Exactly.
Which is huge.
Exactly. You
just do yourself a favor and just prioritize that. And I'm talking to you too. Because he wants to go to the individual therapy.
I'll get there.
But he says, I don't have time.
I'll get there. It's not that I'm afraid, of course. Like, I have no problem. I'll get there. I think if you're all set, I'm cool with wrapping up. I just wanted to get this off, and clearly you wanted to get this off.
I had no idea how much I was going to talk during this episode. This was like the one he wanted to do. So I was like, all right, do you. And then that just fueled a fire in me.
I mean, hey, I'm cool with it. This is our bonus episode, but I really just wanted to make this, just the overall saying, hey, if you feel down, if you feel like you need help, if you feel like you need someone, anything, like, do what's right for yourself. If you go to a doctor to make yourself feel better, you should go to a therapist to also make yourself feel better. The doctor helps you physically, the therapist should help you mentally. Like, you need something for mind, body, and soul, right?
Absolutely. And that's it. It's a whole body program. That's exactly what I was saying about doctors and everyone else. It's all got to work together.
So,
and we will be putting the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline in the description as well.
As always.
So feel free to use that because it is a free service. And if you are feeling really down or really anxious about something, you can call them. Or I believe you can even text them now. I have to double check on that.
So, yeah.
But I think you can. So if you're nervous to be on the phone or anything, and they will help you. That is exactly what they're there for. So feel free to use that if you are in between therapy sessions and you can't deal or you can't get to therapy or something, that's there for you.
Yeah. With that being said, guys, I'm sorry for this not so lighthearted episode.
It's an important one.
It's well needed.
It's relatable, and I think that, if we can help one person, then that's what it's about.
Yeah. Be on the lookout for episode next Wednesday.
Whoop, whoop. That'll be more fun.
Back to your regularly scheduled podcast episode. We'll catch you guys then. Thank you for listening. This is Shadell from Paging the Simpsons. I'm here with my lovely fiance once again. You are?
Lauren.
And I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
Peace.